This year of all years, I wonder if the challenge of Easter might be just a bit more accessible. Well, why should Easter be a challenge? Well, apart from its narrative about betrayal and scourges and nails and cross and painful death, and its ultimate challenge, of course, in accepting the truth of the resurrection. Perhaps Easter is a challenge most of all because we find it quite hard to intersect its truth with our own daily lives, our own lived experience. Christmas feels easier, doesn't it? We all know about babies being born, but death and resurrection, that's altogether harder, which is why we default so easily to Easter as bunnies and daffodils and chocolate. Except, perhaps, this year of all years. A few years ago, in one of those moments of insight in which what felt like a minor shift in understanding actually turned out to have completely changed my God view, I read somewhere that the "so" in the line, "For God so loved the world," John chapter 3 verse 16, might not mean that God loved the world so much, but that actually God loved the world in this way. God so loved the world, meaning God loved the world like this. So that when we gaze on the cross on Good Friday, we see what God loving the world looks like. Not a punishment for sin, but arms stretched out to hold, embrace, reclaim the world. For God so loved the world. Self-emptying love in the face of unreconciled suffering. We've seen enough unreconciled suffering in the past year. The cross, both with its willing victim on Good Friday and blooming with resurrection, new life on Easter Day, is the intersecting point of outpouring love and human alienation and sin. Hatred, cruelty, denial, betrayal are met and overcome in the totality of self-giving love. God so loved the world. God loved the world like this. The pain of loved ones lost, of mental illness and abuse, of jobs and businesses gone, the selfishness of hoarding and panic buying, the pointing of the finger and the calling of the name, victimization, bullying, racism, misogyny, all that crushes and denigrates the human spirit. All are met and overcome in everything else we've seen and experienced in this past year. Frontline workers, NHS staff, volunteers, children, old people, all just wanting to do something, anything, to help, build connections, raise money, collect shopping, prescriptions, sit exhausted hour after hour administering vaccinations, bringing healing, making community, showing love, reaching out to neighbours we never knew before. Here is resurrection. That when this is all over, we'll have learned a better way of living. The darkness and brokenness of this Good Friday year will give way to a voice, an Easter Day voice that speaks our name in absolute love, challenges us with hope, invites us to breakfast on the lake shore, claims and commissions us to be a people of hope, faith and love, and sends us out once more again to live that love in a blessed and beautiful and broken world. This is resurrection. For God so loved the world. God loved the world like this, like you. A joyful, transforming Easter to you all.